Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 3 with the material The Ability of Teachers' Personalities in Teaching Learning Process. Please listen carefully.
Hello, I'm Andya Rahmawati. So, before we discuss the main of this material, we must understand what is the teacher's personality competence. Personality abilities include the whole personality, virtues, honesty, maturity, sharing moral, the ability to actualize oneself, such as discipline, responsibility, sensitivity, objective, flexibility, broad-mindedness, being able to communicate with others, ability to develop professions such as creative thinking, reflection, willingness to learn throughout life, and be able to make decisions. Personality abilities are more related to the identify of a teacher, such as a good person, responsibility, openness, and continually willing to learn to advance.
Okay, I will continue explanation from my friend and I will explain about characteristic of teacher personality competence in the teaching and learning process. Okay, uh, in the teaching learning process, the teacher plays the role of both director and actor. That is, in the teacher lies the success of the teaching learning process. For the teacher is a very dominant factor in determining the success of the teaching and learning process in education. Two other factors. Thus, to this teacher must be have basic abilities in carrying out their duties. One of these abilities is personality ability of the teacher himself. According to Wijaya, the personality ability of the teacher in the teaching and learning process is indicated by the following indicators. Okay, A. Be disciplined and carrying out duties. Some indicators that can be put forward so that discipline can be portrayed and implemented in the educational process, so that the quality of education can be improved is by implementing good rules. Some indicator that can be pulled forward so that discipline can be portrayed and implemented in the educational process, so that the quality of educational can be improved is by implementing a good rules both of the teacher and students, because the rule and regulation that must be opened by anyone for the smooth running of the process, obeying the prevailing police and police, self-control and introspection. And B. Be tenacious of diligence in working. Persistent and prescience in working tirelessly and without string attract are things that must be possessed by teachers. Teachers must be resilient and diligent in their work so that the educational programs outlined in the predetermined curriculum run properly. Persistence and persistence in working tirelessly and without strings attract are things that must be possessed by teacher. Student will get rewards from teacher who display a whole person who works tirelessly and without things attractive. A teacher will not give up when filled with failure and will continue to try to overcome them. Teachers must be diligent in their work so that the educational program outlined in the curriculum run properly. Presence and presence in work are the driving factor and success. Likewise, in the teaching learning process, the prescience and teenage of their teacher is one of the define of the success of the teaching learning process. Okay, that's all for me. Next explanation with my friend.
Okay, next material is fair, honest, and objective. In carrying out learning and also assessing students are things that must be carried out by teachers. This characteristic must be supported by the appreciation and practice of moral values and socio-cultural values which are obtained from the life of society and the state as well as the learning experience they obtained. Fair means putting something in its place, while being honest is being sincere and carrying out its function as a teacher in accordance with applicable regulation, selfless, and in accordance with applicable norms. Objective means really carrying out the rules and criteria that have been set, not favoritism, not seeing that the student is his family or the child of A, B, and so on. Jamal Makmur Asmani ergus, a teacher should not be favoritism in any matter. Favoritism will make teachers' voices not respected by their students, such as disregarding the teacher's orders. Therefore, favoritism should not be addressed by the teacher to his students. The characteristic mentioned above must be possessed by teachers in order to achieve teaching and learning outcomes that are in accordance with the ideals, expectations, and goals of education so that the expected quality of education is actually achieved.
Okay, I will continue the explanation about characteristic of teacher personality competencies in the teaching and learning process. So, according to Sasewijaya, the personal ability of teacher in the teaching and learning process, there are sympathetic, flexible, wise, and simple in act. So, the teacher must really master the thing related in the trait, and this trait require personal maturation, social and emotional maturity, experience of community life, educate learning experience, especially experience in the teacher practice. And then flexibility is a supporting factor to be liked by students in the teaching and learning process, because with this characteristic the teacher will be able to get along and communicate well with peers. And then the wisdom and simplicity will establish the inner connection between the teacher and the student. So with this connection, the teacher will be able to control the teaching and learning process that is carried out. Jadi fleksibilitas merupakan faktor pendukung yang dapat disukai oleh seorang siswa dalam proses belajar mengajar, karena dengan karakteristik ini guru dapat berkomunikasi dengan baik dengan siswa seperti teman sebayanya. Dan kebijaksanaan dan kesederhanaan seorang guru juga diperlukan karena dapat membangun hubungan antara siswa dan guru tersebut. Jadi dalam hal ini guru harus benar-benar menguasai hal yang berhubungan dengan sifat tersebut. And then the next characteristic of teacher personality and competencies in the teaching and learning process, there are open, creative, and authoritative. So open attitude is honestly accepting for the other, and characteristic of teacher who are open are the teacher who provide opportunities to ask student question, and then the teacher can make the student to keep learning. And then the characteristic of teacher who are creative are the teacher are able to come up with the creative and innovative ideas or creation. And then the last is authority. So authority must be forced by the teacher, because with authority the teaching and learning process will be carried out properly. Okay,
For the last characteristic is personal steadiness and integrity. A teacher is required to work regularly and consistently and be creative in dealing with his job as a teacher. According to Omar Hamali quote by Cece Wijaya, his steadfastness at work should be his personal characteristic, so that this pattern of life is also lived up to by students as educators. This personal stability and integrity doesn't happen by itself, but grows through a deliberately created learning process. Personal stability affects the task they carry out, as well as the personal stability of teachers in carrying out. The teaching and learning process will affect the teaching and learning situation they carry out.
Okay, this is conclusion from our material. Among the good attitudes for teachers include 1. Be agile and enthusiastic. 2. Being happy has a sense of humor. 3. Optimistic. 4. Have a broad and forward view. 5. Have a full view of students. 6. Having attention to class activities. 7. Have an honest and patient character. 8. Be friendly to students. 9. Likes to help students' problems. 10. Be disciplined. 11. Always beneath. 12. Work thoroughly. A good teacher is not enough only to have extensive knowledge, but also to have a good personality or character, because in practice in society they need a good character and attitude from a teacher and the ability to get along well in society than an in-depth theoretical review of a discipline that he is good at. Okay, maybe that is the conclusion from our material. Thank you for the attention and thank you for listening our video. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.